afternoon, I'm Helen Jones, and today I'm going to talk about my research, which is to do with exploring the significance of in-process knowledge to composite design and production. I'm under the supervision of Kevin Potter, Carlin Ward and Ian Farrow. So I'm going to introduce the concept of the dibber, which Paul Weaver's already introduced, and I'm going to say what it is, why it's important, and how it's being used for this research. And the dibber is a concept for a standardized handheld tool that's an outcome of my PhD research so far. So what it is, the composites manufacturing process is predominantly hand layup, and ingrained within this process are handmade and personally owned tools. And they're a necessity because the geometries that the laminators have to form the plies to are beyond the capabilities of their hands. So why is it a problem that laminators make their own tools, and how is it linked to the problems that are faced by the industry? So hand layup is an unstandardized process that's poorly understood. It's heavily reliant on tacit knowledge, and there's a lack of knowledge base around this process. The industry is facing challenges of a low production rate and capabilities, the ability to develop the supply chain and train the workforce with composite skills, and this can be linked to the lack of a knowledge base. And then in production, they're also seeing problems with manufacturability, defects, high scrap rates, and this leads to increased costs. And it's believed that the industry will have to overcome these problems if it is to grow. So the dibber. Why is the dibber important? It's important because it represents a laminator's in-process knowledge and the fact that hand layup is an unstandardized process. This is a complete tool, laminator's tool set, and these have all been handmade on the shop floor. And there's such variety because it demonstrates the wide variety of molds that the laminators have to lay up, because dibbers are made for jobs. So moving on to the design. So where do the problems start, and why do we have them? So the problems start in design, but they manifest themselves in production. And it's thought that two root causes can be identified. And it's to do with the training of designers and how new knowledge is integrated in the industry. So the sectors that traditionally use composite materials have a history built on metallic design, and they've just adopted these codes of practice. And the composite industry has problems integrating the new knowledge, and this results in no standardized codes of practice. So you have a situation where you're developing craftsmen in production because they have to develop their own rules. So how should it work? How should new knowledge get integrated in product development? So within product development, you have two main activities, design and production, and it's believed that they have different learning styles. To have a complete learning cycle, you have to have cooperation between these different learning styles, and a complete learning cycle leads to production efficiency. It can be shown that it is believed that the composites industry has an incomplete learning cycle because tools are made for jobs on the production shop floor. They're not formally recognized as part of the production process. They don't exist on manufacturing instruction sheets. Laminators are generating material knowledge in production, and their knowledge is remaining tacit because it's not being incorporated back into the design process. And this is leading to the problems which you see in production because you have material knowledge being generated away from the design. So further work, using the dibber as a concept, a craft can be explored as a standardized industrially set up process. So can the tools become an integral part of a manufacturing instruction sheet? And I'm looking at developing mechanisms to transfer tacit knowledge around the material to complete the learning cycle. So could the integration of tacit material knowledge help the industry overcome problems it's facing as it's looking to grow? Thank you for listening, and thank you to my sponsors and supervisors. Any questions?